world's viewing habits are changing. Forget about flipping through cable, waiting for something good to come on. Today, you just have to go to Netflix, Amazon Prime, or Hulu, or maybe Disney or Apple TV. The choices are endless. According to SkyQuest Technologies, the global over-the-top OTT market was valued at $45.1 billion in 2021 and is expected to reach a value of $123.6 billion in 2028 at a compound annual growth rate of 15.5% over the forecast period, which is 2022 to 2028. So how does a savvy investor take advantage of this development? One way would be to look at Canadian-listed Sabio, which is on the TSXV Venture under ticker SBIO. Sabio is one of the fastest growing CTV OTT technology and service providers in the high-growth, ad-supported video on demand and streaming space. We sit down now with CEO Aziz Rahimtoola and CFO Sajid Pribji to talk about the company's recent success. Gentlemen, good to see you.
Great seeing you. Thanks for having us.
Glad you could be here. Aziz, let's start off with you. For those who don't know, can you tell us exactly what Sabio does?
Yeah, so Sabio Holdings helps brands and agencies effectively reach audiences in the highly fragmented world of TV and video. And so what we are really focusing on is on the streaming side of the business. And so, for example, consumers are cutting the cord on cable, and they're starting to watch streaming apps, whether it's Netflix or or Hulu or YouTube or some of the paid apps like Pluto TV and these other type of apps. What we are involved with is helping brands and agencies reach consumers on the apps that are advertising supported.
But you just reported a record quarter. Your annual revenue was up 66% over the previous year. Can you tell us what is driving this really tremendous growth?
Yeah, it's a good question, Richard. Our CTV OTT business continues to be our key driver. Now, backed by our app science analytics, the business grew 144% in 2022. Meanwhile, industry estimates had the market growing at 23%. Our closest peer group grew at a median of 19%. Meanwhile, the business is becoming more and more consistent. A stat that I love that I mentioned on our last earnings call, Richard, is that 72% of our top line sales in 2022 came from repeat customers. Once we land a new customer, our ability to expand our share of the wallet in short order not only brings more stability to our top line revenues, but also increases our cost efficiencies as well.
Sajid, I know one of the interesting things that's helping you grow is your company's average deal size has continued to grow, growing 40% year over year from $100,000 in 2021 to $138,000 last year. Can you tell us what's behind that development?
Yeah, it's a good question, Richard. So 72% of our top line sales, as I mentioned, came from repeat customers, and they are really driving that 43% increase in average deal sizes as well. The fact is that we're continuing to leverage our end-to-end tech stack to upsell our old mobile display customers with new CTV, OTT, and app science offerings. Now, that includes OTT mobile video, that includes CTV targeting, that also includes the unique insights provided through our app science platform that brands and agencies can use to evaluate the effectiveness of their campaigns.
In 2022, connected TV and OTT streaming represented 72% of the company's sales during the fourth quarter. What is happening in the market that Sabio is taking advantage of?
So you have two things going on here. Number one, there are general industry tailwinds. It's nice to be in a growing industry. Cord cutting continues to increase. The industry at large is growing at 23%. The second thing is that we're significantly outpacing that growth because we are highly differentiated. We have our own unique direct supply. Our acquisition of Vidillion only enhanced that. Plus, our ability to cross-bridge mobile and CTV data through app science is a huge differentiator. Surveys continually indicate that most Americans watch TV with their cell phones right beside them. Our ability to bridge mobile and CTV data gives our customers incredible insights.
Aziz, what is Sabio typically replacing for your customers, do you think?
Well, it's doing two things. It's solving for, once again, as I mentioned, it's solving for brands and agencies effectively reaching consumers in a highly fragmented media marketplace. That's number one. Number two, what it's doing is it's becoming an alternative to paying a cable bill. And so, no one's waking up in the morning and saying, oh, I love my cable bill. Cord cutting continues to increase in the US and in Canada. And so we're benefiting from that because consumers are loading these apps on their TVs, directly interacting and watching content directly. So we're circumventing the traditional business models.
And I know you have a personal background, Aziz, that kind of lends itself well to understanding the space you're working in. Can you tell us a bit about that?
I spent roughly about 3 years at Fox Television, another 6 at NBC, went over to AT&T, and then had some time at Opera, the browser company. And all of those experiences helped me understand the real problem advertisers and brands face in reaching consumers effectively. And so that really is the genesis and the bringing together of Sabio, which is the blending of data and insights from a mobile perspective to reach audiences on a TV, on a streaming TV platform. And so that's really where the two worlds are coming together. We're not only simply serving out campaigns effectively, we're providing differentiated inventory, we're providing unique analytics and insights to validate what we're doing. And so the combination of all these things coming together is really, it comes from my own background of recognizing the deficiencies that existed in the marketplace.
Aziz, what does Sabio want to accomplish going forward this year?
There's 4 key things that we really want to deliver on in terms of execution strategy. First of which is continuing growing revenue above the market, take market share from competitors, specifically in the CTV, OTT space, as we have been doing for the last few years. Number 2, deliver the 4th straight year of adjusted positive EBITDA. Number 3, we see an opportunity to actually have expansion in terms of our political and our advocacy business overall. And that's going into the election cycle, which is going to be a really big year for us overall. And then number 4 is to maintain that fiscal discipline that we have had. Yes, we are a seasonal business that tends to have peaks and valleys in terms of quarters, but overall, we know execution strategy, and we've done this now for the last 3 years, delivering positive EBITDA. So we want to continue doing it again.
Gentlemen, congratulations on such tremendous growth. Great update on the company. Sabio, you can find them on the TSX Venture Exchange under ticker SBIO. Aziz, Sajid, thank you so much.
Thanks for having us, Richard. Appreciate the time.
Thank you, Richard.